So our objectives are to share with you. So I'm going to do a quick overview of some of the things that are happening. We're going to then dive a little bit more into from you. What's one thing that you're happy about that your club achieved last year when it relates to youth services? What's an area you want to grow or focus on in terms of youth services going forward, and a question you'd like to get answered? So we're going to go to those questions in a little while, not yet. What we want to do right now is just to go around and find out briefly from each person your name, your club, and what's one area in youth services that your club's already involved. So if there's tons, just give us one. So I'm going to ask Mike if he can go first, and then Ellen, and then Diane.
I'm Mike Dillon with the Rotary Club of Fonthill. And we are happy to be back in the middle of Youth Exchange again this year. COVID punted us out. We had a good 9-year running before that. And we certainly missed it over the 3 years that we weren't able to participate. And we are now hosting our first exchange students, Satoka from Japan. So
fantastic. Look forward to meeting this Saturday. That's great. Okay, and Alan?
Yeah, hi, I'm from Lockport. We had a long history of many exchange students, but COVID kicked us out of that, and we're hoping to maybe get back next year. We have a very active Interact and not Rotaract, what's the Early Act.
Fantastic. Great. Diane, and then Joanne, and then Peter, and then Thor.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Diane from the Dunkirk Fredonia Club, and we are thrilled to have both an inbound and an outbound student this year for Rotary Youth Exchange.
Awesome. Great. Joanne?
Hi, my name is Joanne Sirkin. I'm with the Rotary Club of Lincoln. We this year had a short-term exchange with a girl from Germany, and that was really interesting having them come back. So hopefully we'll do some more.
Okay, great. And for those of you not speaking, if you can just mute, I'm getting a little note that there's a little bit of back noise there. Thank you for that, Joanne. So Peter, Thor, Kathy, and then Jeff.
Hi, I'm Peter Murray with the Hamilton Rotary Club. We've had ethical dilemma essay contest with one of the middle schools this past year, as well as we've made donations to various schools' breakfast programs in the Hamilton area. And we look forward to doing even more things this year with the various schools.
That's great. Fantastic. Okay, everyone just moved on my screen. I think it was Thor next.
Okay, this is the first time I've been involved with Youth Exchange in about 10 years. So I'm trying to get caught up on a lot of things. We are sharing an exchange student with the Rotary Club's Sunrise. And this is the first time since COVID that we've done that as well. And we are also involved in putting scholarships out to the term of $500 for each high school in the Norfolk County.
Fantastic. Great. Okay. Jeff, and then Rudy, and then Kathy.
Hi there. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, this is the first time I've ever done a Zoom, so okay. And actually, I just joined the club, and I'm co-chairing with Dan on the youth stuff here. So I am just trying to catch up with everything going on. But Dan just delivered some checks for some students. I believe it was I think it was about 500 a piece. Other than that, I'm just here kind of just to soak up and learn knowledge. Dan couldn't make the meeting tonight, and I'm just here to learn. And I'm sorry I can't share too much because I'm just kind of learning everything our club's
okay, Jeff. And you're with Brantford?
Sorry, I'm with the Flamborough AM Club.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll go to Rudy next, then Kathy, and then I think Sheila.
Hi. I'm from the Rotary Club of Norfolk Sunrise, and as Thor mentioned, we are sharing an inbound and outbound with the Simcoe Rotary Club. So we've got Maka here from Spain, and we've got Sophie over in Sweden.
Wow, that's fantastic. Great. Okay, Kathy, tell us what Fort Erie's doing.
Hi, everybody. I am with Jeff on this. I'm new to the club and I'm new to the youth. So I'm here, as Jeff says, to learn and bring some freshness to our club as far as the youth goes. As it is now, we are big into scholarships as well. So, you know, for the past few years, we've been big into scholarships, but we wanted to try to involve the youth more in our community. So I am here to learn as well.
Fantastic. Okay, next is Sheila, then Lisa, and then Justin, and hopefully Collins will come back. Sheila.
Hi, like Diane and Lisa, who you're about to hear from, I'm from Dunkirk, Fredonia. Diane already mentioned that we have an inbound and outbound exchange student this year. We also have an Interact club with both our high schools, I believe, Dunkirk and Fredonia. The Fredonia club has a new advisors, and I'm interested in stepping up that relationship, because as I was reviewing the guidebook about what I should be doing as the youth exchange counselor, I saw that like we're supposed to be doing a little more with the Interact club.
Great. Okay, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Great. Lisa, Justin, and then Collins is back.
Add for the Fredonia club, you know, happy to be a part of it. We're lucky in Fredonia and Dunkirk that we have been maintaining our inbound, and we've had outbounds on and off for the last several years. So definitely just wanting to stay in the loop, as well as interact and maybe even learn a little bit more about the short-term programs. We've never been involved in that. So curious about, you know, if that might be an option for us as well.
Great, we'll speak to that a little bit. So one of the people that you want to know if you want to learn more about exchange is Justin. So Justin, but you can also have your club hat on. So tell them what club you're with.
Thanks, Ann. I'm Justin Bester from the Rotary Club of Brantford Sunrise. We've kept on going with the youth exchange program. We have 3 kids out this year between the 2 Brantford clubs, and we brought in 2. From the district level, we're looking forward to growing it and adding new clubs to the program for the next year.
Great. Okay, and Collins, want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Collins. I am one of the newest members with the Font Hill Rotary Club. I became an official member in July, but I have been attending since April this year.
Great. And you're with Mike, learning more about you. Fantastic. Did I miss anyone? As I say, you all moved on me. So, okay. Excellent. Great. And my Rotary Club is the Rotary Club of Hamilton AM. And we have been involved in sending someone to junior RYLA last year. And certainly have a new youth leader who's interested in doing a little bit more. So we'll talk a bit more about all the different options in a moment. So I'm going to share with you some slides, and I will send them out to everyone afterwards as well. And as we are going along, particularly those that are new, feel free to put questions in the chat, and people will probably answer them faster than I can, or shut them out if so need be. So I just want to go through the sort of kind of 7 areas around youth services. So just at the high level, sort of some of the things that are happening. The list here might be slightly out of date, so we're constantly working on trying to keep it up to speed. But we do have a number of Interact clubs. So for those of you new in youth leads roles, Interact is Rotary in a high school, or Rotary that is for 12 to 18-year-olds. Could be in a community, could be a couple of groups. It doesn't have to be in a high school, but many or most are in high schools. It is true, so I'm glad you raised that. There are a lot of, it's not just for the Rotary Club to create it and then leave it alone. There is jobs for Rotary to do in some places, and I'll use Niagara County Central and their 3 clubs as an example. They work really hard at keeping the projects that the students are doing are very connected to the projects that the club is doing. When they did Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup, they had 250 students out helping with that. Some Interact clubs and I use the example of Eden High School in St. Catharines. They actually just recently started twinning with a Rotary Club in Scotland. So that's kind of a cool element that they're doing. But there's lots that is happening in the area of Interact. And probably one of the most couple of other things that are happening is we have David Barry and Brandon Brant's David looking after the Interact clubs in the Canadian side. So if you are on the Canadian side and you want to create an Interact or you want to strengthen it, David's your person. And Brandon for the US side, Brandon's with the Boy Scouts of America. David has started a Facebook page for Interact advisors. So if you do have an Interact club, you may want to look into that to get onto the Facebook page. And some mentioned Early Act. We do still support Early Act. It's not an official program of Rotary International. So one of the things that we are working to do is make it more of a subcommittee under Interact to kind of bring it back and give it a little bit more the legs and the structure. That's something I'm working on this year. So you can stand by on that. I don't have a lot of concrete updates for you yet. But probably the most concrete thing I can share with you, and if you are interested in Interact, we're having a special session on October 3rd, Zoom like this, 5 to 6, focus on how to start an Interact club or how to strengthen an Interact club. We've got 2 out-of-district Interact clubs speaking about some of the things they've done, and one of our own 7090, the students are going to speak about the Interact Club and why they have it and what they get out of it. We're going to, at that session, give tools of how do you start it or how do you strengthen, a whole bunch of different ideas. So if you're interested in Interact, it's already up on the district page, but we are having this special session, and we'll be doing other special sessions like this for other areas of youth services, but please make a note of that. Let me just pause.
And
Yeah.
sorry, if we have a student leader of Interact in our high school, can they participate
You can invite them.
in that call, or is it really more Tarians and then we pass it along?
We'd be delighted. If you think they're interested, then have them along. Since I haven't done it before, I think it's going to be relevant to everyone, but yeah, absolutely. I think that could be very helpful. Great idea. Okay. Any other questions about that? Okay, I tend to count to 10. So let me say a little bit about
Excuse me, Ann. Sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Ann. I just wanted to throw out a question maybe to all the other representatives as well, including yourself even, Ann. How many have used the Slapshot program during the past year at schools in your areas?
Well, I'm about to come to Slapshot, so can we?
Oh, you are? Good. Okay, so I'll wait. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just thought I had
That's exactly where we're going next. So for those of you who are new to may not know, Slapshot was the old word or name that was used, and we now call it Junior RYLA. And Junior RYLA is a leadership development program for those that are in the high school ages 15 to 18. So that's what Peter is referring to. There were 45 people at last year's program or thereabouts. And I'm actually not only going to show you a video, I'm going to show you where you find the video, because there might be more resources up on our Rotary 7090 website than you might know. So I'm here showing you the Rotary 7090 website. If you go in under committees and you come down to youth services, there's additional information. Generally, it's up to date. I'm working on a few areas that they aren't, about all the different areas. So I'm going to Junior RYLA here. And those are all the kids that were there this past May. And this is for 15 to 18-year-olds. And it's a program that is in person May 3rd to May 5th. And then in addition to that, they have some virtual sessions after it's over. all the information. There's a variety of information here, including the costs, etc. But I'm going to show you an amazing video that they created this year. So if you don't know what Junior RYLA is, here we go.
Providing youth with leadership opportunities is incredibly important. We're so fortunate to have two great opportunities here in Rotary District 7090, Junior RYLA and RYLA programs. I think RYLA Junior is such a wonderful opportunity because there are so many different aspects of it, but also incredibly important for life building skills and definitely also leadership skills as well. So far, my experience at RYLA Junior has been really great. I've met a lot of new people and had a lot of fun.
I think these high schoolers should be coming out to RYLA Junior because it creates great leadership. And I think that leadership actually has a ripple effect that can impact on a deeper level throughout society.
So my experience so far at RYLA Junior has been incredible. You know, meeting a lot of new people, doing a lot of new things I never even imagined I'd be doing.
My experience so far at RYLA Junior has been really excellent. I've gotten to meet a lot of great people so far. It's really nice to have so many people come together who want to share a similar experience of like leadership. It's a great opportunity.
I would recommend RYLA Junior to everybody. It's a fun experience.
It's a great way to meet new people, get out and try something fun, something you've never done before. For youth, if you are curious about Junior RYLA, you think you might be interested, and you have any hesitations, just do it anyways. There's no way that you're going to have a bad time. You're going to make friends for a lifetime, have some really cool opportunities, and you'll absolutely go back to your home and to your school with lots of great skills. And to Rotarians, thank you so much for continuing to support our youth programs in District 7090. They're providing incredible opportunities for our youth. So thank you. And please keep sending amazing youth that we can support in building their leadership skills.
I've met a lot of good people with RYLA Junior, a lot of good students that are very keen on helping and changing the world. And I'd like to see them in the future make a difference.
So that video, as I say, is right up on the website, and you can also download it or use it when you're promoting it as well. But it is, there's a little, there was a little flipping and flopping. We do call Junior RYLA, but it was the first year, so there's a little bit of back and forth there, but no big biggie there. So that's something that you're going to want to, if you are interested, you're going to want to start thinking about recruiting and having your applications in around March, April. As I say, the dates are right up in terms of there. So questions about Junior RYLA and the concept of what that involves as something concrete your club could get involved in?
I don't have a question, Anne, but our club had 3 students go this year. So Dave and I drove them out to the site, we were given a tour, and they were one of the students was so shy in the back seat, you know, she could barely speak, but on the way home she was so excited, and it was quite an experience for her. She has a language barrier, so she was in her glory, and they're actually coming to speak to our club. I believe it's in 2 weeks. They're coming to thank us. Yeah, so that being there and seeing those kids and how happy and excited and what a great program is what got me interested in the youth program here with Rotary.
Isn't
Yeah.
that great? And I will and I'll certainly share that in some of the sessions they did afterwards, they actually taught the students what to do to go and thank the Rotary clubs. But I know we do not yet have 100% where they are going back, but be sure if you do invite them, really push them to come back, because I think it's important for everyone. So thanks for that. That's great.
You're welcome.
Anyone else on Junior RYLA, a question or a comment? Does that answer your question, Peter?
No.
Yeah. Hi, Maria. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Me or Peter?
Go ahead, Maria.
Okay. No, I have a question. Why is it in May? And one of the issues that we're having is that's during our AP exams. So we've had interested students, but they have to take these certain exams. So they can't get away. You know, I know it's usually, what is it, on the weekend?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. But they'd have to. Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I can tell you the answer, but I will share with them. I do know that there's no good weekend. As
True,
we got
true.
into with the 2 countries and all of that.
Yeah.
It has to be further enough that because there's no heating in these cabins, so it can't be.
Sure.
And in April, there is well, there's Easter, but there's a variety of other things. And then in May, there's Mother's Day, followed by 2 long weekends, etc. I know that Sarah, in booking it this week, we went through, I think, 12 weekends, and like this was the only one that just worked on things. But point noted, and we certainly have moved RYLA, which I'm about to come to, up, and it doesn't mean it's not on this weekend forever. So I will share that, and we'll see how we can do to nudge it one way or the other to make it better.
Okay, thank you, Ann.
You're welcome. Okay. And Peter, you said that did answer your question on that?
Yes, it did. And I also want to thank Kathy for what she was saying with her club over in Fort Erie, because that's been the common reaction of students that have come back from, well, it was when it was called Slapshot pre-pandemic, and now, of course, Junior RYLA. They loved it. And they end up thanking me. And I said, well, thank me. I thank the club. And we invited them to the club to share their experience over that weekend.
Right.
But they're delighted to have gone, all of them.
Yeah. So if your club's new to youth services or they haven't done that, it's, you know, the price tag is pretty bite-sized. It's a great way for clubs to start getting involved. So do consider that. We also revamped RYLA during COVID. So if you don't know what these words stand for, Rotary Youth Leadership Award. And it is the way our district runs it is RYLA is for those that are 18 to 25 years old. So they are often in college, university, or just graduated. And we have, and when we did a revamp of the program, came out that they wanted a lot more presentation skills, a lot more learning how to network. They wanted a stronger connection to Rotary. So they also had virtual sessions, and then they actually had to take one of the areas of focus in Rotary, like literacy or disease prevention. And they actually created a whole project and a concept that they pitched to myself and District Governor Lisa Bishop and now District Governor Scott Morrison and Assistant Governor Lisa Avery. It was fantastic. And there were 13 students this year. And next year we hope to have 20. We have taken the numbers way down for a lot of different reasons, including the Suncliff that where we're hosting it in Hamburg. But the facilitators found that it was actually able to be much more in depth and much more meaningful with a smaller group. So we're hoping for 20. So if you haven't been involved or your club hasn't been involved in RYLA for a while, again, the dates are on the website, and that's certainly a big opportunity.
And
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
did you say how many there were this year? Sorry.
13, and we hope to have 20 next year, this year. So that will happen. We've moved that date again because of exams and stuff. So it's now early March instead of late March. So the applicants are going to have to you need to have your applicants, by January at the latest. So just note that it's going to be a bit early because we had to move the date to better accommodate everyone. And it has moved from being a week and in June. And again, that was all part of the feedback. So great. Any other questions on that? Jeff, I think you're muted there. Just a minute. So if you can go down to the button at the bottom, there's a menu at the bottom, and unmute. I muted you. Just because of the background noise. I'll give you a second to do that. While you do,
I had a question, and sorry.
Yeah.
I know you're saying that the event, the RYLA event next year will probably be in early May. When can we get in touch with the schools and to try to talk to like student services?
Whenever you want. Now, whatever the dates are known, the focus is known, and in some places it's good to start early.
Okay, where can we get the packages then? Who do we go through?
All on the website, and you'll see that it has everything. Some are saying it's just waiting for, but you can certainly use the video and all of that, and Sarah Bradshaw's contact info's there to connect with her.
Great, yeah. Okay, and Sarah is where? Sarah Bradshaw?
You'll find her right on that website, same one I just showed you on 7090 Youth Services. There she is.
Okay. All right, yeah, because it's been like 3 years, just prior to the pandemic, we had the last one, and so look forward to getting back into it under the new name too. Yeah.
And
yeah,
I'd like to share some results from participants that we've sent.
Yeah.
Our RYLA candidate that went this past year ended up being a facilitator at Junior RYLA.
Right.
So that was a nice connection. And 2 girls that we sent 2 springs ago. One is our current outbound in Sweden, and the other one is the president or prime minister of the local high school students council. So just wanted to share, the effects of the leadership development. So pretty awesome.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And Joanne's here, and Joanne's been on the committee as well. So thank you, Joanne, for that. So Jeff, I'm going to show a video, but while you're looking at that, I know you're trying to figure out how to unmute, and I'm sorry, I so want to mute you. But if you go down to the very bottom, there's a menu at the bottom, and the first one on the left has a mute button, and you should be able to unmute that. So give it a try, and I will, while you're doing that, I'm just going to show, and we'll get Justin to speak particularly to short-term and long-term exchange. But again, I'm trying to show you some videos that we have, because I think as clubs, we need to do a better job of sharing these with others because they speak volumes. So here we go.
Committed to building community through global awareness and understanding, we challenge teens globally to step outside of their comfort zone and expand their worldview by entering a new one. Hosted by supportive families, young people are given the opportunities to explore new locations, immerse themselves in a different way of life, and create impact in regions far from home, all while forming lasting relationships. And making countless memories. Returning home with endless stories to share. Because a moment can be the experience that lasts a lifetime. Rotary Youth Exchange. Find out more at rotary.org/youth exchange.
So you heard earlier we talk about inbounds and outbounds. Inbounds mean they've arrived in Canada or the US for a year. Outbounds mean they've gone out in the world. We also have short-term and long-term exchange. So Justin, do you want to tell people the difference between short-term and long-term exchange, as that might be new to them, and maybe a couple other things you'd like to highlight about youth exchange as the chair of youth exchange? Oh, you're muted, Justin.
I should know, sorry. Starting over. Short-term exchange is exactly what it sounds like. It's a short, direct exchange, student to student, and it's usually done through the summer, July and August. A student here will exchange with a student, say, in France. That student in France will come here. They'll spend the first month together here. Then the two of them would go to the other host family's home in France or wherever it is. Long-term is a full school year, basically, from mid-late August to late June, early July. And basically, we take all the students that are coming here and exchange with students that are going out. So it's pretty well an equal exchange to exchange. The students coming here would take the school spot of the student that's heading out somewhere else. We currently exchange with about, we have 8 kids out right now. We have ability of about 15, 16 countries, I believe. Mike, you may want to answer that better than I can. I'm the new guy here, so. And right now we've had quite a few clubs that are looking to expand and get back into the program in the next year, and we're happy to help them out, facilitate, and make that happen.
Great, great. So questions people have about youth exchange?
I have a question, Justin. How long did you say the short-term exchange was?
Basically, it's the summer, so July, August.
Oh, okay.
Okay, a month here and a month there.
And the long-term is a year.
Long-term is roughly 11
Okay.
months, 10, 11 months, depending on the stay after the school year is over, depending on how early they get here.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
And the you need to be recruiting in the fall.
Correct.
For sure. The district interviews are early January.
It's a long process to get them ready to go. And yeah, we need to have students selected and prepared by later this year.
And the short term, it does require a direct exchange between families. So, you know, for a student to be a short term, they must host as well.
Correct.
And does Rotary facilitate that matching as well,
We do.
similar to
Yeah,
the
we do.
long-term
We still follow it.
exchange?
We have found some students that aren't quite ready for long term, and they kind of get their feet wet with the short term.
Oh, we didn't hear the end there, Lisa.
Oh, I was missing Justin's audio, but maybe
Okay.
it's my.
I was just saying that we have had some students where they aren't quite ready for a long term, and they try a short term first, and some have jumped into a long term from there. And others have found it isn't their thing, and they don't do a long term.
But in terms of making the match, we would submit the application and then that.
Correct. We'll facilitate it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So for some clubs that can't get host families or can't get enough host families, this has proven to be an effective, or maybe they're just getting back into exchange. So, you know, we love both programs. But please do consider that. We really want to grow both a lot this year. And a big call out, especially to our American friends here. So we have a lot fewer clubs on the US doing exchange right now, and we'd really like to change that. Alan, and then I'm gonna go to new generation.
How many host families do you usually like to have for a long term? We've done 2, 3, 4, 3.
I think 3 is ideal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And while they're ideally Rotarians, you know, a lot of clubs have a lot of luck with really connecting with the high school parents and so forth. So there are other ways around that. They don't have to be Rotarians.
The hosts do not need to be Rotarians.
Is that for students? Is that district wide, or is that, you know, within each club that, or is that the 4 students for the full district?
No, your club finds the host families. You can share, like we have 2 clubs here. You can share as long as they aren't going to different schools.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's 4 host families, not 4 students.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's 1 student who would have 3 to 4 host families over the course of a year.
I see. Okay.
Great. Okay, I'm going to go to the last two programs and then we come back to some of your questions. So the next one is one where I am determined that you're going to help me find some applicants because it's just a peach of a program. It's just new, but we don't have any applicants right now from our district who'd like to go out. And it's called New Generation Service Exchange. It's for people that are 21 to 30 years old. And they have identified an area that they want to work. So maybe they're an urban farmer and they really want to learn how they do urban farming in Sweden. Or maybe they're a chef and they want to learn, as we had a chef who want to learn how to cook vegan. But they apply saying, this is what I want to learn. These are a couple of the ideal countries I'd like to learn it in. And if they can get 3 weeks off work, then they ask for 3 weeks. If they can get 3 months, then they ask that, whatever it might be. Rotary finds, and so we then find a matching Rotary club or clubs. We find, and they go and they job shadow for those 3 months, not work. They job shadow their area in that country. They live with Rotarians. So it's a customized exchange program. We do have an inbound coming in from Brazil. She's going to be coming hopefully to Simcoe, Hamilton, St. Catharines, and hopefully Buffalo as well. She wants to learn about environmental law. She wants to learn about tax law. She'll stay with different families. Some of them are weak and so forth. She'll experience different Rotary clubs. She'll job shadow. Some of the retired Rotarians are going to take her to the courtrooms. But so we have one coming in, but we're looking for some applicants to go out. The only cost for the individual is their flight. And some gifts for their host family and stuff, but the rest is all organized by Rotary. It's an incredible gift to someone 21 to 30. And we would really love to see some applicants, and the application and everything is all online. So if you know someone who might enjoy this, or you think you'd like someone to come present on this to your club, we would be delighted to.
Is this like a rolling process, or
Yep.
is it, so if someone submits an application and could get off in March or August or whatever?
Exactly.
And what is the club's, like, if we're sponsoring it, what's our club's responsibility for an outbound versus inbound financially?
So you're not so much sponsoring for the outbound financially, I believe that I believe that there's nothing to the outbound. Okay. If there is, it's minimal, or I would know the number. It is, you do provide a counselor, like you do provide some guidance and counseling. You have vetted the person, you make sure you're comfortable with that. But when they are inbound, like the Brazilian lawyer coming in, we at the district level coordinate all of it. No one club is responsible for looking after her. So, yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Super. Sounds great.
Yeah, I get goosebumps. Yeah, Joanne?
I was looking actually into this, and I don't know if you can clarify. They were saying that the person that wants to go outbound cannot be Rotarian related.
I will check that on the website, and otherwise I have not heard that directly.
Okay. And then the second, do they have to be working in their vocation, or could they be, I don't know, doing a master's, or could they be in university?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What we don't want is someone who's like, I have no idea what I want to do in the world, but I'd really like to be in Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
What we don't want.
No. Okay. Super.
Because the parents and people that are job shadowing and stuff is like, oh, you're not interested in this? So we want them to be interested in the field, that they're a little bit focused, as focused you can be when you're 21 to 30, but yeah. I will double check for you on the no connection to Rotary. I have not heard that, because I know I've pushed my own boys to say, you should look at this, but they live in Victoria.
Yeah, because that's what I was for Sky, right? She's in marine biology. So, but then I read it online somewhere, and then I was like, oh, sorry, kiddo, you can't apply. Okay, that'd be great. Thanks.
I'll double check. Okay.
And I remember when we were vetting the girl from Brazil, her father's in Rotary, like there was a connection there.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Rudy's on the committee. Thank you. So yeah, I think that's I think that's a misnomer. So great. Thanks, Rudy. Forgot that. So last, and maybe I'll just spend a minute on this, but the last area that falls under youth services is Rotaract. And I'm going to show you one last video because again, I'm not just trying to show them so you know more, but I'm trying to show you so hopes that you might put some of these up on some of your stuff. So I'm just going to show you this quick video, tell you a couple things, and then come back to your things. So here we go.
I moved here and really didn't know anyone.
I wanted to get started on my career. I felt like I needed to be more active and give back. I wanted to be in a career that I loved, always learning, always following my goals.
I knew I wanted to help people and create lasting change. I was looking for a way to connect with new people and make friends, something fun and social.
Something that makes me a better person. Something meaningful.
I've grown to know my neighbors.
And to work with them to improve our community. I'm becoming the impactful leader I want to be.
And through it all, I've had fun and met some of the best people. I found connections, solved problems, and made a difference.
I've built a network, a community. We took action. We joined Rotaract.
I moved here and really.
I know you got it. Okay. So why am I sharing that with you? Well, I can share with you. So Rotaract
Moved here and really didn't know.
So Rotaract is the final area that falls under my portfolio or the portfolio of youth services. And Rotaract got, if you think we had it hard in COVID, Rotaract has had it so hard. So as you can see here, in 1 year, we lost 54,000 Rotaractors during COVID. We've lost 430 Rotaract clubs. And our own district is equally weakened. We have one incredibly strong Rotaract club, and that is the Rotary Club of Buffalo, University of Buffalo. They are fantastic, well-organized, and dynamic. Our Niagara Community Rotaract Club, our Brock Niagara Community Rotaract Club, our Hamilton Community Rotaract Club, our McMaster University Rotaract Club are all very weakened in that they might have they had, but before the spring, about 2 or 3, maybe 4 active people. We are working really hard right now to do activities with them all coming together to create things. So in fact, this Thursday, we're having a speed networking event in Hamilton for people in their 20s and 30s. And I am so happy to say I have at least 10 people coming ready to join Rotaract on Thursday night. We have Niagara Rotaract is having an event on Friday. And we've even started an online program called Meet the Professionals that the Rotaractors came up with, where we have Rotarians. First one we did was on real estate. This one's going to be on entrepreneurs, who share some of what they've done, and the Rotaractors ask questions as they look into their careers. So we're working really hard. So if you know people in their 20s and 30s, I can tap you into a lot more of what we're trying to do. But we're trying very hard to work together to build back Rotaract and get it back strong enough that people can continue to do all that they're doing. And as others noted, there are many other ways to do youth services as well. The scholarships, the 4-way or ethical test challenges like Peter mentioned. There's one Rotary Club that does a whole bunch of interview skills for young adults, career fairs. There's a variety of different things. So that's a walk around. I'll send that around to you afterwards of all that is happening in Rotary. What I would love to hear from you about is what's an area that you want to grow in? So we've talked about what you're happy about, but what's an area you want to grow in for your club this year? And what's a question that we can answer relative to what you are trying to do? So let's do a quick swing through the And if you don't know yet, that's okay too, but I do want to identify that there's a way that I can get specific resources to specific areas. I'd love to do that. So why don't I start with Diane, then Ellen, and then maybe Jeff if he's figured out the mute. If he hasn't, it's okay. He can type it in the chat. Okay. So Diane, what about for your club? I don't know if you can speak on behalf of everyone there.
Sure. I don't think I think we're interested in working more with our Interact club, developing it, getting to know them better, etc.
Okay.
Sheila and Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, please.
I think that's probably our biggest target area, since we have a club, but maybe it's not as robust and we haven't given it as much care and feeding. So I think it's our obvious opportunity for this year, for sure.
Okay, great. So October 3rd might be for you from 5 to 6 for that special session.
Definitely. And this is Sheila. And I also think we're interested in getting the SUNY Fredonia Rotaract Club back up and running.
Ah, okay. Fantastic. Okay. I'm either about to be murdered or my nephew's in the house. So I just need to call down and just find out who is walking in my basement. Okay. So just have a second. Some of you know my number. I'll give you a code like, or like, needs to do something. Okay. Okay, the murderer went quiet. I'm just going to text who I think it is, but we'll carry on. Okay, so Kathy, we just overloaded you with a ton of information. What are you thinking you might want to focus on?
Well, you know what, I found it also interesting. I know that, and at the changeover, we talked about the 4-way test, bringing using that into the high schools. I'd like to get some more information on that. And then I've got some notes here that I want to take to the club, try to regenerate Rotaract, because I'm not sure if our club ever was involved. And we only had one RYLA applicant last year. We had 3, as I told you, but we'd like to work a little bit more with RYLA and getting our youth here in Fort Erie a little bit more involved in community. So I'll be visiting one of the high schools. So all the information was awesome today. Thank you.
Okay, you're most welcome. How about you, Rudy? What struck you, and where do you want to take your club in the coming year?
Sorry, my hands are wet. We are about to get started with recruiting for new outbound. We expect to get a RYLA candidate and 2 for junior RYLA. So those were our goals when we met this morning.
Oh, that's fantastic. Great. Okay. Thor, how about you? What's either something you found interesting? And then Jeff has discovered the mute button. So then we'll come to Jeff. Thor?
Okay, well, we used to have an Interact club that was quite active and quite good, and we let it die. So we like to get that up and running again.
Great. Okay, come to October 3rd. That's great. And go check out we just cleaned up the website. There's a ton of new materials there, including the steps to get a club running. So you don't even have to wait for the session. That's fantastic. Okay, Jeff.
Hi, can you hear me again?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, wow, just a lot of information tonight. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting together with Dan, who's co-chairing this with me, and I guess we're going to work on a candidate for the RYLA program for sure. And I'm not quite sure what else he's working on. We'll have to get together with him and work on some of this. This is great stuff.
I'm glad it was helpful. Great.
Yep.
Ellen, and then Peter, and then Mike. And Colin.
Yeah, we are definitely interested in trying to get an international student again. I don't know, Maria Piano is also a Lockport person, and she actually has been very involved in Early Act and Interact, and both of those clubs are going well, right, Maria? We also will most definitely try to get someone for RYLA Junior and search out someone for RYLA, which is a little bit more difficult to find, but.
Right. We're gonna
No.
maybe do a bit of a common promotion. We're certainly gonna do that for helping people with exchange, but also with RYLA. We're gonna try and put together some stuff that everyone can have the same material to go out with. So that's on the to-dos that's left. Do you want to
Right.
add anything, Maria, to that?
Yes, in echoing what Ellen said, yes, we have a strong early act and interact. We're going to be focusing more on the ninth graders to join, because usually those are the shy students who want to get involved but do not know how to get involved. In the past, it's been kind of word of mouth and meetings and so forth, but that's our main focus. And I think that's going to help a lot. If anybody's having any issues on recruiting students, go for the younger ones. And that's why we have a very active early act, because they know about early act, interact, and Rotaract. So hopefully they will continue. And as Ellen said, we do want to focus on getting an exchange student, an inbound. Okay,
Great.
so we're working on it.
That's fantastic. Great. Okay, let's go to Peter and then Mike and Collins.
We definitely want to revive the junior RYLA. We'll be continuing with the ethical dilemma essay contest as well. And we'd like to explore other, programs as well. But those would be the main priorities. I think right now would be the junior RYLA and continuing with the ethical dilemma essay contest and supporting breakfast programs at schools, especially schools that are in need in certain areas of the city. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Great. Okay, Mike and Collins, what about for Font Hill?
Thanks, Anne. Ellen and Maria, I know I just heard John Heiss clapping his hands enthusiastically up on high when he hears talking about getting back into youth exchange program. He was such a dear ally to that program for so many years, and we miss him. We miss him mightily. In terms of our Font Hill Club, COVID kicked the crap out of a lot of our youth programs. Interact was a nice, thriving program up at E.L. Crosley. It had actually commingled and become integrated with the student council, so it had it had some pretty significant draw. People who were logically interested in joining student council ended up integrated with our Interact program as well. COVID fell that off though, so we're looking at kind of breathing some CPR air back into that lifeblood. We had similarly we had an early act program in one of our local public schools. We'd like to kind of see if we can find another champion for that. The Collins is kind of taking the lead for us with our Rotaract Club. We are in partnership with St. Catharines and Niagara Falls and our Font Hill Club. We support the Niagara Community Club. And so who was it from Fort Erie who is interested in being a part of that? You may want to connect with us to see if we could just integrate those efforts together. And there it is, Kathy. Talk with us further about that and how we could harmonize that. I think and COVID certainly did a number on that club as well. Most clubs for Rotaract tend to be embedded into institutions, colleges and universities. This Niagara Rotaract Club is a community-based club, and so when the university clubs faced huge issues, especially in Canada, because they weren't allowed to meet. And then in the community club, it was even more disastrous. So trying to get that, we're happy to see that, there's a couple of champions who are keeping the wheels growing, not as vibrant as we'd like to see it. So we continue to work in that direction. And I guess in terms of future goals, Anne, we talked about new generations and I dropped you a chat in the message. I'm sure you've been multitasking, so you may not have seen it yet, but Laura Kenny, who you've probably been familiar with, who was our RYLA candidate last year and was also one of the ambassadors at Junior RYLA.
Yeah.
I would imagine she would be extremely interested to talk about that kind of thing. And so maybe you and I can chat offline and see what we about that.
That would be fantastic. And as we're trying to strengthen Rotaract, I will share one other model just for clubs to consider it, which is what Niagara Falls has done. Niagara Falls Sunrise created a satellite club. You need 10 members to have a satellite club that are their RYLA and Rotary Exchange returning students. So they have a special part of Niagara Falls Sunrise that are all youth oriented. It's another model, and we're actually drawing on them. They've been helping us somewhat as well. So just throw that out there.
I would just also add, for the benefit of the group, that having been the chair of Youth Exchange preceding Jill, who preceded Justice, and being involved in all the youth programs that we have over the year, we love the cross-pollination opportunities that happen in that. And the more, although it seems like a daunting task to start getting involved in all of these different programs, what tends to happen over time is one feeds the next, feeds the next, feeds the next.
Yeah,
so the efforts to work on any one program are supported by the previous efforts that we're doing. So the more you're engaged in across a lot of those programs, the easier each program tends to become.
Thank you. That's great. I'm going to wrap up in a minute, but I think, Joanne, I haven't heard from you, and let me know if there's anyone else that I haven't touched.
Yeah, we do the junior RYLA and RYLA along with the scholarships and stuff, but I think we just started an Interact Club last semester at the West Niagara School, the new school that's between Beamsville and Grimsby. So it's about getting that up and running for September. Right. And then also starting with our exchange students. I have one student already that is going to apply for the full term, which is exciting. I'd like us to kind of get back into that. And I think we'll end up partnering with the Grimsby Club so that we can share host families. Because I think that's always the biggest thing that everybody has struggles with. So I think that's going to solve our issue, because the school is right in the middle. Everybody shares the same school. So it's not like they're going outside of the jurisdiction. So
wonderful. Fantastic. And Justin, how about you with your club hat on? Where are you heading for the year to come?
We're getting back at it. I don't have a lot of connection with the local in-house club, but we're definitely recruiting, and I'm sure we'll have as much success this year as we had last year.
Fantastic. Great. Well, I hope this was helpful. I will send you the slides so you have them. I'm always your contact if you need anything. Go to our Rotary 7090, look under youth services, see all the committees there. There's lots of information there. And we're going to have some focused ones, like how do you recruit, for RYLA, and different ones. We'll do some focus sessions. We'll have some general sessions, and I'll do whatever you say is helpful. So keep the feedback coming. And thank you so much for making time tonight.
Thanks, Anne.
Thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
And for your time.
Thank you very much, Ed.
Jeff, thanks for working through your first Zoom. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, made lots of notes. This was good. Thank you.
Well,
got lots of talking with Dan in the future here.
Good. Okay, great. Okay, well, I'm gonna head out. Thanks so much. So nice to have you here. Take care.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.